I am open to having more children. I was like, oh my goodness. Is Prince Charming married? And then I never heard from him ever again. He ghosted me. Hey guys, we're in my bedroom and I started doing my makeup and I decided to do a halfway get ready with me. I already started. So this is not a makeup tutorial, so it doesn't really matter that I already started getting ready. I recently watched that show on Netflix, Really Love, with that guy Kofi. I think he's from Queen Sugar. I haven't seen Queen Sugar. I should check it out. There's so many shows. Do you guys ever just get overwhelmed? You're like, oh my gosh, I should be watching these shows. And then whenever I get an audition, it's like, if it's a show I haven't seen, I'm like, oh, I need to watch some of this. I mean, I don't have to, but it's always nice to, if you have time, figure out the tone of the show and who the actors are and all that really fun stuff. But I was washing dishes the other night and I watched that show, Really Love. It was cute. There was so many beautiful people in it. You're seriously like, oh my God, who looks like that? But geez Louise, the woman is stunning. Stunning. You know, today I actually went to a commercial audition and I do pretty okay in commercials. You may have seen me before. If you're a commercial actor or if you're an actor at all and you do commercials, car commercials, if you know, you know. I've been on Avail. Avail means if you're on Avail or on hold for a job, it usually means like they're highly considering you. Like you went to the audition, you went to the callback, and then if you get a call that says you're on hold or on Avail, that means they might be considering you with maybe one or two other people. It's like down to the wire if you're on Avail. I've been on Avail for a couple of car companies, and as of lately this year, my agent has gotten me some premium car auditions. Before, the other cars were not premium cars, but this year I've gone out for several premium cars and gotten callbacks on them, but I have not gotten any holds for the premium cars. I feel like I've been trying to figure out my look and study. Car commercials are so specific. And today I was so frustrated because I went in. I'm not saying that I'm not beautiful, okay? And I'm not saying that I'm not pretty. This is not a ploy for compliments, but I went in like natural Sierra and like a cute little sweater or something. But don't get me wrong, like I can be cute, but I can do a little something, okay? Don't let me do a little something. So anyway, I go to this audition today because last week I had an audition for a premium car commercial. And I did the sleeker look to see if that would work for me. To see, I'm like, okay, and it was asked for. They were like, they're gorgeous, they're amazing. So I did a sleeker look. Granted, they asked me a off the wall question. Sometimes in commercial auditions, they'll ask you like a personality question. And I have been doing my best to be a little more vague. I am someone who can answer questions pretty quickly, but last week, because I wanted to be vague, I had an answer that I could have pulled out right away, but I decided not to. They asked what was a definitive moment in your life. And y'all, I literally went on a tangent. I was like, I can't think. I was like, a definitive moment. And I was like cute and bubbly. I was like, what are you guys asking me that for? And they were already recording. They're like, well, that's what the director wanted to know. And they were like, don't criticize the director's question. I was like, okay, but a definitive moment? Like, oh. I'm like scurrying. I have several moments in my life that are very impactful that I can think of that are definitive moments. But I didn't want to be cliche, and I also just didn't want some pity party, and I just didn't want to do it. I was like, I'm not doing it. I went off on a tangent, rambling.
Have you ever had a dream that you could
like this, similar to now? And I was like, I've just really discovered in the last few years of my life that social media doesn't matter. And really the most important thing that matters is the time you were born and when your egg met my dad's sperm, that means that see, I'm on a ramble right now. This is how I sounded. I looked beautiful, but I was on a tangent. I didn't get a call back for it, which I was like, wow. I was really bubbly and fun, but guess it didn't work out. So this week, and my agent had sent me an email about, like, it was super appropriate. It was just like, hey, like, if you're gonna wear your hair like this, like, please take a headshot with hair like this so that casting is not thrown off, which is fair. That's like a very fair thing for an agent to say. But it was something that I was trying out that was new. And she only knew because I had another audition that was a self-tape, and she was like, hey, have you been wearing your hair like this? And I was like, no, literally just today and yesterday. So she was like, oh, you should take a headshot with your hair like this. And I was like, okay. I didn't get a call back. So today, when I had car commercial auditions, more than one, I'm gonna not do the sleeker look. I'm just gonna be normal Sierra, hair super fluffy and all the things. And I get there to this particular audition. This wasn't a premium car. It was not premium. So like, this should be fine, like how I look. And I get there and it's freaking supermodels. Long torso. And there was only 2 different kinds of looks there. And I looked, this is not mean, but I looked like Ross. Like, I looked very Target-y. And I have a look that can, sell, like cute, bubbly, fun, like know your brand. So I get to the audition and it's like supermodels, long torsos, how they're dressed. And I'm just like, damn. I didn't know that's what this was because that wasn't the description. And I just felt so mad and so irritated because I don't have the headshot with my hair a certain way that my agent told me about. So I was like, I'm just gonna play it safe and go in the way my headshot was. I'm like, why did they even call me in for this? Because all the girls who were there were supermodels. Legit supermodels. Oh my God, you guys, there's so many beautiful people in LA. Sometimes I get ready for an audition and I am like feeling myself hard. Today wasn't one of those days because I had theatrical auditions too that I kind of had to play it down for. Couldn't be like glamazon. Sometimes you just feel so amazing for an audition. You're like, damn, I'm so fine. Like, I look so good. I got this shit in the, oh, excuse my French. You're like, I got this shit. Excuse me again.
What did he say?
Anyway, you're like, I got this in the bag. And then you get to the audition and you're like, well, I'll be damned. If you ever saw that movie, what is that girl with the red hair with the singing? God, I can't think of that name of that movie. But there's a girl and she's in the waiting room and there's literally like 1,000 people that look like her. Literally 1,000 girls who look exactly like her. That's how Los Angeles is. You go to an audition, especially a commercial audition, if casting knows what they want. If they know what they want, sometimes you'll get to the audition and you'll see like Sierra 1.0, maybe like a lesser attractive version, everyone's attractive, okay? That's not what I'm saying. But you might see like a version of you that's like not as glamorous, or you might see a version of you that's like, holy cow, like we look like we have a similar look, but she's like a 15.
Okay, and you guys back off. Don't be like coming at me with comments like
Everyone's beautiful. All of God's creatures are beautiful.
But yes, all of God's creations are beautiful. We are all stunning in God's eyes, okay? But I'm just telling you, when you get to an audition, sometimes you're like, wow, like this is a really beautiful version of me. It's crazy. You just, when you come to Los Angeles, I don't know if it's like this in New York too, but you just see super beautiful versions of yourself and you're just like, wow, like I thought I was bomb, but clearly I'm not. That's how I felt today. It made me feel bad because it's like I'm capable of this. Like I'm not naturally capable of this. Like I'm not one of those girls who you're gonna be like, oh my God, no stitch of makeup and the girl is stunning. I'm not that girl. Like, I'm not. And that's fine. But give me some makeup and do my hair. I can tear it up.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn I'm not.
Don't get me wrong though. Like when my skin is really clear, I can look really pretty without a stitch of makeup. I could have pulled something out of my arsenal to do well at the audition today. But instead, the supermodel girls were in the room, in the casting room, for like 30 minutes at a time. And I went in and they couldn't say bye fast enough. They were like, okay, bye, thank you. And it was just really frustrating because, and I told my mom, I was like, I don't care, like moving on to the next. Like I'll grieve and then I'll move on. And she got mad at me. She's like, you do care. And I do care because like you do, like every time you get an audition, like a fantasy goes through your mind. Like you have a fantasy of what could be. Like, I don't know about other actors, but I definitely have a fantasy every time it's not like a, oh, I'm laying down fantasy, but it's just like a, oh my goodness, like this could happen. Especially if you get like an audition for a series regular. You just are like, oh my God, like this could be the one that changes my life, you know? So it's disappointing when you have this mini fantasy and this expectation that you're gonna do well, and then you get there and it's not gonna happen. And you just know. If I got a call back for today's audition, that would be shocking, but
what? I'm out, man.
I feel like I've done enough of these auditions to know that it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And it's okay. Get the next one. I'll crack the code. If it's the last thing I do, I'm gonna crack the code. These lashes are super busted. I need new lashes. Back in my pageant days, I used to always have beautiful new lashes, haven't used, in the drawer. But the older I get, I don't be having unused lashes. One of the things I've been listening to is my mom sent me Louise Hay's. If you go on my YouTube, it's so funny. Like all of my videos are like, reprogram your mind, change your thinking, manifest, do this, you know? Because I've been working really hard to change my thought patterns over the last year and a half. I've been working so hard at that. You have to actively work at that. It's not something, it takes so much time and dedication and awareness to change your thought patterns. But I've been listening to a lot of Louise Hay's, and I'm sure my Christian friends might have opinions if they listen to her, because her and Wayne Dyer and so many other like spiritual leaders use terms such as universal intelligence and things of that nature. My acting teacher said something along the lines of, Sierra, God isn't petty. And at the time, I was just like, I don't know how to feel, because there's all these beautiful spiritual leaders such as Eckhart Tolle and Deepak Chopra and all of these amazing leaders, and they don't use the term Jesus. I mean, sometimes they reference Jesus, but they use terms like universal intelligence, the light in me recognizes the light in you, or the truth in me, or things of that nature. And one of my really close friends said something to me along the lines of, Sierra, what you call rice, I call el arroz in Spanish. And so sometimes I think in this human experience, the older I'm getting, I feel that oftentimes there are many different spiritual leaders who are saying the same thing, but just putting a different, I say that to say, but if you guys are into spirituality and just trying to learn more and become a better person, Louise Hayes has been actually very life-changing for me. Why am I doing this? I didn't want to do this. Ugh. I wanted to put mascara on first. Duh, Sierra. Duh. Put mascara on. You guys, I got suckered. I went to the hair store and they gave me a gift basket because I bought like $250 worth of stuff. They gave me a sample of Elia mascara, and they knew what they were doing when they gave me the sample, because their mascara is so clutch. I love it. So, did I go out and buy a $36 tube of Elia mascara? Yes, I did. Don't tell my mom. Please don't tell her. She'll yell at me. I mean, she'd be complimenting my lashes, but I can't tell her it was $36. Louise Hayes has been life-changing for me. I believe that Jesus saved my life. I know he did. I still enjoy people's teachings that don't say Jesus. And I know that that may be controversial, but this is getting a very controversial video. But when we start talking about like heaven and hell, and we're not going to go there because it's just a little much, but I definitely, it really resonated with me when my acting teacher said to me, God is not petty. And I think that Christ, love, is far beyond any human's comprehension. I don't even think on our best day we can comprehend the love of God and the expansion of God. I know I always reference Planet Earth, but Planet Earth to me is just the most life-changing show. I just love Planet Earth so much because beyond even my own personal experiences with God, I feel like Planet Earth showed me the vastness of God and how big he is, with all of these trees and plants and animals and waterfalls, places we've never seen or heard of before. As a human race, I mean, we've heard of we have a very basic knowledge of birds and trees, palm trees. I can't even think of another kind of tree right now. Duh. Planet Earth really is like, wow, God, you're so big. Like, even on my best day, I can't comprehend you. I love Louise Hayes. I love her teachings. You know, she's really helped me a lot as someone who has struggled with feelings of unworthiness. But she's been such a help. And even just her voice is so calming If you guys want to know what I'm looking down at, I'm looking down at my eyelashes because since they're used lashes, I'm just like pulling the glue off of them. Did I ever finish saying what I was gonna say about really love? I don't think I did. But I was talking about how beautiful that girl was. Oh yeah, that was part of my tangent. She's so beautiful. And there were like equally beautiful women at that car audition today that I know I'm not getting a call back on. Yeah. It's just not gonna happen. But anyway, if you guys saw that show, what did you think? Spoiler alert if you haven't. Did you think that they should end up together? It was open-ended, which I kind of knew that was coming because usually when I'm watching stuff, I'm watching while washing dishes or cleaning my house or folding clothes or something. There's rarely been a time in my life in the last years that I'm like just sitting down watching television without having to be like doing something. But did you guys think that they ended up together? I don't think they should end up together. I think he was toxic. I just think sometimes we don't vet things properly. I'm not saying that love can't happen fast. I think that God can reveal who you're supposed to be with really quickly. I think he undoubtedly can. But I think that you have to take time to get to know people. And that is one thing I have learned in my old age.
People are gonna let you down. Your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your uncle, your aunt, your pastor, your friends, your president, hell. He's gonna let you down. But are you gonna let yourself down or are you gonna keep moving?
I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just such a two-edged sword because it's like on one hand, you want to have this childlike mentality and you want to embrace everyone. I mean, I mentioned in one of my videos, I've nannied for years and the little kids are each other's best friends. Like when they go to the playground, they're just like, hi to strangers. And they're like, you're my best friend. And on one hand, I want to be that way and I want to have that childlike mentality. But the ego, that's what I've been learning about, is not living from the experience, living from your experiences, not letting the experiences of your life dictate how you see society and how you interact with people and how you approach new relationships, because we could easily go through experiences and create these thought patterns based on these toxic experiences or even good experiences that we've gone through. So on one hand, I want to say like, yes, let's embrace people right away and let's be friends and let's just jump right in. Let's just free fall like they show on TV. And I am such a romantic. I am such a person who's like, yes, let's fall in love like they do on the TV. But at the same time, I'm just like, girl, you guys are moving really fast. And call me old-fashioned, but in the movie, she was like, move in with me. Y'all, I feel like I can't even go there because y'all are not gonna like me. It's fine. Not everybody's gonna like you. Just didn't like when she was like, move in with me. In my experience, I feel like the movie sort of depicted that. Like, I don't feel like a man is ever truly happy and okay within himself unless he is fully walking in his purpose and feels like he's doing what God has called him to do. When she asked him to move in into her home, it was really premature because for one, she barely knew the guy, and then for two, I feel like he wasn't settled. And I hate to reference Steve Harvey, but I'm going to. one of my friends was like, because I often reference things Steve Harvey says, but stuff he says is true. I know guys are like, oh, but look, things he says are true. But I remember reading his book, like one of his first books. Was it Think Like a Man? Act Like a Lady? Was that like one of his first books? Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man? But in that book, he says something in the intro, I think, about a man is just not gonna be what you need him to be if he's not situated within his craft or his job or whatever the case may be. It's true, because just like that girl in that movie, she asked him to move in and she was disappointed because he stood her up at the ballet. He didn't show up. He wasn't what she needed him to be. It was doomed. It moved too fast. The way he spoke to her, I was like, you're toxic. He triggered me. I was like, he's toxic. Get out of there, girl. Go to Chicago, like your mammy and daddy said. Nothing was healthy about that relationship to me. I'm the first one to romanticize things on the television. The first one. But I'm just like, girl, you have a boyfriend and like you go and you seek out your ex and you sleep with him while you're involved with someone else. Like, this whole situation is just toxic AF to me. It's all toxic. Now, I'm not saying that I don't think that you can't grow with your partner, because I actually saw something on Instagram today. It was like Overheard LA on the post. A girl said, oh, I'm so mad I married for love in my 20s because now my friends who are like in their 30s got married for money and they're in France and I'm jealous. And I went through, because the comments are the best part, right? People were saying like, oh my God, like if you marry a guy like that for the money, just know you're gonna get cheated on. I know both types of women. I have both. I mean, obviously you're never at anybody's house and you have no idea what's going on in their relationship behind closed doors, because people can make social media look so real and that stuff could be so fake. From experience, maybe I'll share a story. You can grow with your partner. I'm not saying that you can't be with a man who doesn't have his stuff together. This is for women too. I've been so focused on my career. It can be hard to really give somebody your all when you're still going after purpose. And purpose just doesn't go away. I was talking to my mom about that today because she's always on me about things that I need to be doing. And I talked to a childhood friend of mine. He was telling me about, I've known about one of his dreams since he was a kid, but it's just funny because now he's very established in his career. Even though he's established, it's crazy because it's not crazy. It's just God. God does not let that thing that's tugging at your heart go. It won't go away. That thing that just keeps tugging and tugging and tugging at your heart, God doesn't let it go away. You have to do it. Or you can die just constantly feeling, I don't want to use the word burden because it's not a burden, but that's the only word I can think of. It's like this burden, this heavy feeling of like, I know I'm supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z, but I'm not doing it. When you are in alignment with God, you hear his call and you know you're supposed to be working on your thing, aka that guy on Really Love, who was really focused on his art. I think it's just hard to nurture maybe a relationship at the same time. I felt like it was the wrong move for him to move into her house. And also, again, call me old-fashioned, I don't think it should go like that. I think a man should pursue a woman, and I just felt like she was pursuing him. And look, I have friends that have done that, and I'm not knocking it. I wouldn't do it. I've been in this situation before. That's a whole other story. The whole time I was watching that show, let's just get to the conflict. Where is this going? It was good because it left you wanting to have a conversation with your friends. Do you think they end up together? Do you think it was a toxic relationship? Do you think it was a healthy relationship? Do you think they're meant to be? Do you think women should support men? Because she even at one point handed him her card. And they also showed on the opposite end of him coming out on top, being successful in his art and making it. And then after he made it, he was like, I love you. But I also feel that sometimes a woman can champion a man, and then sometimes he leaves, and the next woman gets all the work that you put in, or that girl put in. But in that situation, that's why they say, don't be giving no man wife benefits, because that's what a wife does. A wife champions her man in a certain capacity. Yes, you can champion your boyfriend in a certain way, but there's also things that a wife does. Only if you wife me are you going to get certain benefits. I think it was a good little show, because I think it really left a lot of open-ended questions. I actually do have something I want to say. I went on a date. I think it was the beginning of this year. I was on a dating app, which I'm not anymore. There was a guy who I liked, and it was looking like it was gonna go somewhere, and he ended up being a liar. Like, lied about so many things. I want to say his nationality, but I'm not gonna say his nationality. But when I was dating him, I remember telling a couple people, and a couple of people said to me, hey, did you know that this particular nationality is known to sometimes scam people? I'm not going to, what do you say, perpetuate a stereotype, because there is no one group of people. You know, people say, oh, only black people have sickle cell, which is like, makes me so mad, because it's so untrue. So I know that there's good people within this nationality. However, when I was dating this particular person, people told me this group of people can pull like very elaborate scams. And I was like, no, like, this is a godly man. Like, he's amazing. Like, no way. I got scammed, you guys.
Yes, he has expressed it. We both express it, and we both feel like crazy. We're like, he tells me, he's like, you're not crazy.
And I feel like I have a very discerning spirit, but I got super scammed. I was heartbroken too. Like, I'll cry right now. I was heartbroken. And I was glowing. I have a picture somewhere. Maybe I'll put a picture and just block out the guy's face. But I got scammed, and we're talking, this guy was praying in tongues, calling me at like 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the morning, talking about, let's have prayer together. Okay, like, we're talking a wolf in sheep's clothing, you guys. Straight up wolf in sheep's clothing. It was crazy. It was crazy. It still boggles my mind, because I can only think of one red flag. One. And my girlfriend, she caught it super early, and I didn't catch it. During this time, there was actually another guy on the dating app that I really connected with. Oh my God, he's so funny. I wasn't super physically attracted to him, but I was like, oh my God, this guy has a great sense of humor. If I go out with him, I'll be attracted to him. Because I get super attracted by somebody's looks, but if I just vibe with you, I just get really attracted. This guy has a great personality. The banter was amazing. I had a phone conversation, and on this particular night when I set up a phone date with him, it was a phone FaceTime date, I was having drama with the other guy. Scammer guy, we'll call him Scammer guy. And so Scammer guy, he and I are going back and forth, and I'm just like, oh my God, to the really sweet guy. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, let's come up with a name for Scammer guy. Scammer guy's name is gonna be, should we just call him Scammer guy? Let's call Scammer guy Darkness. So Darkness and I were really getting into it. And then Lightness, we'll call the other guy Light. This is so cheesy, you guys. I have to come up with something. What can I come up with? Oh my God. Okay. Rollo. That's what my mom calls dudes. Rollo. You talking to Rollo? We're gonna call scammer guy Rollo. So Rollo and I are into it. We're having a night drama, whatever. He's mad, whatever. And I have a FaceTime. I was like, whatever. I'm done with Rollo. I'm gonna go ahead and give this other guy a shot. Like, cause Rollo is like, things are not adding up here. So I'm on a FaceTime date with Prince Charming. Okay. I'm on a FaceTime date with him. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Prince Charming. I have to give you a call back. At this point, we set up our face. I was really, really, really busy with auditions and I was booked. It was a lot going on. So he was gracious enough to allow, like, we did the FaceTime date at 10 p.m., which is fine. Like, I was at my kitchen table, fully dressed, blase, blase. So I tell him, I'm like, Prince Charming, we're gonna have to, I get off the phone with him at like 10:30. I'm like, I'm sorry, my age, I lied to him and I shouldn't have lied, but I lied. I get on the phone with Rollo and where am I going with this? Anyway, basically, long story short, I end up telling Prince Charming starts texting me day after day. I called Prince Charming back that night to tell him, hey, like, I just wanted to call you back like I promised I would. And he was like, oh my God, I just think it's so sweet that you called me back like you said you would. Like, I didn't know if you didn't like my accent or what. And I was like, no, I just had business I had to take care of, but I wanted to give you a call back like I promised I would. He ends up texting and calling me and I hadn't really been getting back to him. So I finally sent him this really long text telling him that I thought he was an amazing guy and that I just wasn't in the position to date him at the moment because I got caught up in something else. So Prince Charming sends me back the most incredible like text. I wish I had it, but I deleted it. So we know where the story is going. So he sends me back this incredible text. Like, everyone was like, oh my God, that guy, like, you should go out with him. So I contacted him like maybe 2.5, 3 months after I felt like I processed everything that happened with Rollo. I contacted Prince Charming. He was like, oh my gosh, I've been thinking about you. I'm so happy to hear from you. I would love to take you out. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, let's go out. So he plans a secret date, which I love surprises. He plans a secret date. And, you know, prior to the date, we talked. We had one long phone conversation for 3 hours. It was amazing. We talked and laughed. It was like wonderful. And, you know, I started looking at his YouTube channel because he has a YouTube channel and he has a show. And for some reason, I looked on his hand and on one of the videos, he was wearing he was wearing a ring on his finger. And I thought, oh my goodness, is Prince Charming married? So I sent him a voice memo. If you know me, that's like my way of communication. I sent him a voice memo. I'm like, oh wait, no, I didn't send a voice memo. I sent a text. I was like, hey there, Prince Charming. I said, are you married? He was like, no, I'm not married. He's like, well, he waited like 2 days before he got, a day and a half before he got back to me. So I was like, oh crap, this dude's married. How is he married? I had such good vibes from him. Clearly we need to check my vibes, you guys. So he tells me, he's like, yes, I was married, but oh hell no. And then he gives me all these dates. He's like, the divorce was final as of May 2020. Blah blah blah. And on top of that, he says, I do have 2 beautiful children that came from, I didn't ask him any of this. This is all to me saying, are you married? So then he says, I have 2 beautiful children that did come from that marriage. This is literally still me having said nothing. This is all in one text. He's like, I am open to having more children. I was like, oh, so this guy is, you know, a little bit older than me, which I'm fine with. I connect with older people. You know, he tells me he has kids. I'm like, oh snap. because that's another commitment, you know? Like, I don't discriminate, but it's definitely something that then he goes on to tell me, like, look, I didn't put that on my dating profile because people treat you like cancer if you say you have kids. And I was like, okay, that's, like, understandable. I understand. I mean, there's things about myself that, I don't know. You guys may think that that's up in the air. I don't know. Like, do you guys think somebody should disclose if they have kids or not if they're on a dating site? Do you think they should put, like, dad? I can understand why people wouldn't, because I feel that we could come up with all these assumptions in our mind and think that something is a certain way, and you could miss out on something really beautiful because you're discriminating. You know what I mean? Like, I think sometimes in our mind we have this picture perfect idea of what something is going to be, and you could miss out on something really wonderful because you're like, no, you have this, like, list that you're stuck to. So I could understand. He tells me he has kids, and then this is what led to the 3-hour phone conversation. And I was just, like, asking him questions. So he tells me, he's like, yeah. I'm like, so what? Like, you seem like an amazing guy. Like, you seem like an amazing communicator. Your text to me when I told you that I wasn't in a position to date and that I had gotten involved with somebody else was so gracious and so kind. Like, just the way you communicated with me was really one for the books. I'm like, what? Like, how are you divorced? Like, why did it not work out? Like, what did you do?
What?
And then, you know, he very graciously talked to me about his ex-wife. He didn't say anything bad about her. He just said, like, you know, that he chose her when he was really young, and, you know, she seemed like the perfect fit on paper, but, you know, it wasn't perfect for him. And he shared with me, he was like, well, she's super neat freak, and in my mind alarms are going off because anybody that knows me knows I like vacuum every day. I like things very nice, very tidy. I'm like, please take your shoes off when you get to my house. Like,
Can we look at the bottom of your feet? Like, are your feet dirty on my white rug?
so when he's saying that, I'm like, I don't know if I'm the type that's gonna, my friends already tell me, like, Sierra, you need to loosen the reins for when you get married, because you're a little uptight. So anyway, he tells me he didn't say anything bad about his ex, which was like, that's a red flag. If people say bad things about their ex, like, that's a red flag. Like, I just don't think you should talk negatively about your ex. You chose them and you love them and you slept with them and you did whatever you did with them. So I think that you should just chalk it up to a learning experience and not say negative things about your ex. Because it also makes me feel like you don't take ownership of you don't own your part in it. So he was very mature in that, in saying, you know, what he did. He's like, yeah, so my legs are falling asleep, you guys. Ugh, because I'm sitting on the floor. He told me, he's like, I also smoke weed, and she didn't like that I smoke weed. I'm like, okay. I have plenty of friends who smoke weed. I don't smoke weed, but I was like, okay, cool. That's fine. So anyway, he's divorced. He has 2 kids. I'm single, never been married, no kids, doing wonderful things in my life. He's doing wonderful things in his life. I'm a pretty young lady, you know, all the things. And so I could have easily written him off. I could have easily been like, you know what? I'm not going to go on a date with him. But I was still so excited to go on the date with him. I showed up so pretty, in my opinion. I showed up so pretty. We had a great time. He surprised me and we went go-kart racing, which that was actually the second time a guy surprised me go-kart racing. So we go-kart racing, we get food. We have a really great time. And, you know, it was a day date. It was wonderful. I think we were together for like 2 hours. And then, you know, he sent me a text the next day. He sent me a GIF. And the GIF was what do you call it? Like, he was wearing it was like a neck brace guy, and he was like, physical evidence of how I feel today. And I like sent him a bunch of jokes. We laughed so hard on the date, you guys. Such a good time. And then I never heard from him ever again. He ghosted me. And then it just really boggled my mind because it really bothered me. I hadn't heard from him, and in my mind, I was like, he's not my guy because I'm not gonna tell you guys this part. But anyway, I went back to see him after we said goodbye. I knew he was still sitting in the parking lot, so I drove by him and I asked him a question. And I saw that he was like, he lit up a blunt and he was smoking weed. I was like, dang, was I that bad? He was like, no, this is a celebratory blunt. I was like, okay. So we talked for a second. He's like, is this a deal breaker? I was like, no. It wasn't. He had already told me that over the phone that he smoked weed. So that wasn't a shock to me. But I was like, dang, like he's ready, you know? So anyway, he sent me the text the next day. And then I never heard from him ever, ever, ever again. And about a month ago, it really, really bothered me that he ghosted me because I didn't ghost him. I straight up communicated to him that I was not in the position to be in a relationship or to even date because I felt like he was worthy of my actual time and attention, not of me being hung up on some other guy and using him to get over somebody that really hurt my feelings. In this day and age, like when you're a certain age, just be upfront with people.
Don't ghost people.
Tell people, hey, I had a really great time with you. I don't really see this progressing or whatever, yada, yada, yada. That's the respectful thing to do. And on top of that, I'm like, look, I'm not saying that he wasn't a catch because he was a catch. I gave him the time of day. Like I said, he had a great sense of humor. He was funny, all the things, but I'm a catch as well. And of course, everybody's coming to a relationship with baggage. It is, no matter who you date, everyone's coming with baggage. Everyone's bringing some bags to a relationship. Everybody is, no matter who you are. I'm bringing bags, but I'm just talking in the like, I'm single, never been married, don't have kids. Like he wouldn't have to deal with baby daddy drama and all. And who's to say that all like there's always drama between a mother and a father, because that's not always the case either. However, you guys understand what I'm saying. I'm a catch and I'm just like, I gave you that same respect and I told you where I was at and you couldn't even give that to me. So I don't know, that situation just really made me so mad. And I was just thinking about it and I was like, how dare you ghost me? Like, and then even when I sent him the message about ghosting, do you think he responded? No. Duh. I wrote it out, you guys. Like I was eloquent. I was like, mm-mm. But I don't know. I feel like women sometimes can be so, just taking it back to that show, I feel like women sometimes, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen to men, but I just feel like sometimes women can do all the right things. I don't know if it's an LA thing, but he wasn't even from LA. Like, I was like, wow. Wow. Most guys that I've gone out with, if I'm not interested, I let them know. I'll say something super sweet, like, oh my God, like, I love X, Y, and Z about you. I just don't really see us. Like, I'll say something really sweet because I don't want them to be putting time and effort and I'm not the type of woman either that's going to be like, oh, I can go get, like, food with them. Like, one of my girlfriends gave me such perspective about men and dating out here and how dating can be, like, very expensive in Los Angeles. Like, if you're trying to find the one, you know, and you're not some man who's super wealthy. Sorry, guys. My makeup kit is, like, not cooperating. If you're not some man who has made it and you're not already rich or something, it can be really expensive. And so I'm not going to be a woman who is taking advantage of that, because there are good men out there and there are men who want to go out and who really are looking for a good woman. So to waste some guy's time and let him continue trying to pursue you when you know dang well he ain't it, I don't think that is kind. My goal is to always be kind. And sometimes it just goes back to my tangent about being like a kid. Like sometimes you want to, you know, have open arms and be like, yes, let's be friends and let me be nice. Oh, there's something I didn't know. Let's be friends and let's be nice to everyone who comes into our life. But then it's like sometimes it feels like you can't be overly kind because it feels like sometimes it just gets taken advantage of. You know what I mean? So I guess these days I try not to hold tight. I got the lip liner on. I try not to get bitter about it, and I do try to approach situations with new eyes. I don't really like this. I need hair. I still have to put on bottom mascara, and I need hair. We're putting a wig on, you guys. She's gonna be cute. I think we should, you know, give people a new opportunity, because if you operate from that ego mind of having your guard up and being on guard, that's not healthy either. So you kind of have to find a balance of being open and welcoming. I literally just do random things to my lips until I figure out the right combination. So where am I at now with dating apps? I'm not on them. I've really been focused on my purpose. And my mom says she feels like God has sort of placed me in a cocoon. And I have sort of been in a little bit of cocoon. I think for a lot of this year and even last year, God has just been healing my heart of so much stuff. So much. You know, broken relationships. It's heartbreaking when you lose friends and loved ones, and life is not panning out the way you thought it would be. There was a lot of loss for me last year. A lot. I've really just been... Did I ever put this stuff on? No, that's why my eyes look so dark. You guys, this is like a terrible makeup job because I'm kind of not really that into it because I'm trying to talk and record at the same time. But we need more of this because my eyes look dark. I haven't had a glam makeup job in so long. I like really want to get my makeup done by a glam person. I feel like my makeup looks its prettiest once it oxidizes, which means like once it sets into my face, in like an hour it'll be pretty. But right away it's like, oh, it's just sitting on top of my face. But once it just like melts in. I also need to like experiment with a new foundation. It's time. It's time. But yeah, I just feel like God's been healing my heart, because you think you're gonna have people for a really long time and then you don't. And I know a lot of people experienced loss last year. All that death with Corona, and this is like kind of cute, right? Again, I am not a makeup artist. Duh. There's so much loss. But even in the loss, God is so good because, you know, He brings new people into your life. But to approach those relationships without bitterness, you just have to... I think sometimes I just don't put as much weight on it anymore, you know? You don't put as much weight on it because you don't want to walk through life being bitter. She look cute. Now we're gonna put this Elia on the bottom lashes. We're gonna put the Elia on the bottom lashes. Get those lashes. Do you guys remember, did you guys ever watch TBN, Trinity Broadcasting Network? My mom still watches it. There was a lady named Jan. I think it was Jan. And she used to wear her eyelashes so long. It was like clumpy mascara. But like I'm into it sometimes. The clumpy mascara look. Like not so much the clumps, but like the thickness, you know? When you're just like, ooh, she got lashes. And then after I do the Elia, I don't know why I do this. Maybe it's just because I feel married to this mascara, but I just go over it. My mama used to always tell me, you can't go wrong with makeup. I don't know what happened. I think God's bringing me out of depression. You know? He is. There's just a lot to process. And I'm gonna talk about that in my video. This is actually why I got dressed, to talk about that in my video. So stay tuned. You wanna know what I'm getting dressed for? I'm getting dressed for you to do this video that I've been wanting to do for a while. So there's my makeup. Hold while I go get my wig cap. Don't judge my outfit, you guys. And don't be looking in my bedroom. This is where I sit on my floor. I do my makeup on the floor. Okay, let's put on my wig cap. I'm really vulnerable. She has hair though, you guys. She has hair. It's so funny because my mom used to wear wigs all the time. And I actually had a conversation with her, and it's like, when did I become you? Oh, my wig cap has a hole. I just double wig cap it. And my hair is not as flat as it could because auditions and things, I need my hair to be like cute tomorrow. So I didn't like get it real flat, which is fine. Are you guys clutch? Do you guys know about, you guys clutch? Do you guys know about this? It's called a wig grip. And before, when I used to wear wigs all the time, and this still can happen if you wear wigs too much. The tension, well, you can still get the tension from these wig caps on your hairline, but I really like these wig grips. They're like $3. They used to be like $15 because I think people didn't know about them. But you just put it around the perimeter of your head, and then the wig, the combs of the wig grab onto this like felt, and it's just better for you. Oh, my hands are greasy. My hair was greasy. I started using grease again, you guys, because I watched this YouTube video. Oh yeah, the other night I was on the YouTube rabbit hole, and this girl was like, you need to start using grease again. And I was like, you know what? She's probably right. Be buying all these new age lies. Let me just get the grease out again. So here's my wig. Pop her on. She cute. She cute. Look, I could do a little something, y'all. They didn't know. They wasn't ready for me at that audition today. Cause yeah, girl can do a little something. You can. This is like a cheap wig. It's like, it was like $30. But she's cute. She gets the job done. So we have to like go in and fill in. I have to like fill this in like dark a little bit, but it's fine. We'll just hold while I get a comb. I forgot to get a comb, you guys. I got this little Martell comb. This is the only thing I don't like about this wig. It's like, I feel like I'm the kind of woman who, like, I cannot stand a wiggy look. Like, back when I used to spin, and I'm probably going to start spinning again on wigs, but I used to get my wigs custom made when I was in college, when I was doing pageants. And granted, I think I had the length like way too long. However, when I didn't have, I have a picture somewhere, I'll post it in this video. I was the queen of, is that your real hair? Like, is she wearing a wig? Is she wearing clip-ins? Like, what does she have going on? I cannot stand looking wiggy though. Like, I want to look natural. As natural as possible. Like, I want people to be like, is that her hair? I just want it to be very, I used to be, I don't know, I feel like as I've gotten older, I want to have a more like effortless pretty. This is like as good as it's gonna get right now because I don't want to keep this video going. It looked really cute. I had an audition that I just got her for a last minute audition because I needed to look super youthful. And so I can make this wig, depending on how I do the makeup, I can make this wig look super older, or I can make her look very young. Like, 'cause you know, like young girls sometimes wear bangs. So I looked like I was 20. But anyway, I'm gonna end this video because I'm gonna play with her and then I'm gonna get dressed to shoot this other video that I want to talk to you guys about. I appreciate you. Thank you guys for getting ready with me. This was really fun. Did you guys like this? It's a little long, but it's fine. It's fun. We got ready, we chatted, we talked, we had a good time. I'll see you next time.